For my next stop, I headed south to the town of Colorado Springs. Colorado Springs is home to the U.S. Air Force Academy, the National Museum of World War II Aviation, and a couple of Air Force bases. So what better place to have an airplane restaurant? And yes, this restaurant is exactly what it sounds like. This plane you see behind me is an intact Boeing KC-97 tanker, and it's not a replica. This plane was built in 1953 and was used to refuel aircraft all over the world. It's one of the largest piston aircraft ever made by Boeing. But in 2002, it was given a new mission, serving savory entrees to a host of hungry passengers. The airplane restaurant is an aviation-themed dining experience, complete with aviation decor, pictures, artifacts from different periods in the history of flight, waitstaff dressed as flight crew, and even an actual airplane. But you won't get peanuts here, and you can't smoke. Those days are long gone. What you will get is mouth-watering food in a one-of-a-kind atmosphere. So what inspired an aviation-themed restaurant?
Well, I'm a pilot. My grandfather and uncles were pilots, and I do restaurants, and I'm a pilot. Seemed like a good thing to do. So it took 10 years from the time I came up with the idea to the time we actually opened.
The primary seating area can accommodate well over 200 people, and it's almost like a museum in here, just chock full of artifacts and stories about the history of aviation. Then the wing of the plane actually comes inside the restaurant, and if you get here early enough, you might get a seat inside the plane. This Boeing tanker has been completely overhauled to fit an extra 42 passengers. As for the cockpit, it's still there too. How did you come to acquire this plane? I'm sure that military aircraft isn't something you can just go buy online.
I bought this from the government on an auction. Other people that buy this type of plane, generally speaking, want it for scrap metal because it takes a lot of money to get them flying again. Not too many people want to turn a plane into a restaurant.
So the story of this plane's retirement ended on a stretch of asphalt, but it almost ended up somewhere quite different. It was once on a refueling mission in Europe, and the crew was supposed to land in the Azores, which is a group of islands west of Portugal. But they had missed their mark, it had appeared, and couldn't seem to find the islands. Believing they were low on fuel, they almost ditched in the middle of the Atlantic. And this plane we're on right now almost became a permanent home for the fish. But fortunately for this flight, the crew found the Azores just in the nick of time. Well, enough history. I'm getting hungry. So I'm looking at their appetizers, and they have some tantalizing options on here, but I think I'm going to get started with the barrel rolls. A barrel roll, for those unfamiliar with the term, is a maneuver where the plane rotates on its longitudinal axis. The appetizer sounds almost as exciting. It comes with tender chicken, red pepper, cilantro, pepper jack cheese, and rice with a hint of jalapeno, all wrapped inside a crispy tortilla. Sounds delightful. Yeah, barrel rolls, but no cheese. Thanks. Yes, I said no cheese. You know, I can feel you judging me from the other side of that monitor. Let's just say I want to try to avoid any unnecessary turbulence on this trip. Now, for the main entrees, they have a lot of unique aviation-themed meals. But I think I'm just going to go with the chicken teriyaki burger because, well, it just sounded good. Chicken teriyaki with a pineapple ring on top. I think that's going to hit the spot. What are some of the more popular menu items?
All of our fish is fresh, so we have steak Neptune and salmon Neptune. It's topped with crab and shrimp stuffing, topped with hollandaise. We have buffalo steaks, buffalo burgers, a myriad of different types of salads. Those would be our most popular. We also have a wonderful duck quesadilla made with smoked duck.
That was wonderful. Much better than expected. And in some ways, it feels like dining aboard an actual airplane. Just better. Obviously, the food is much better. And it looks like I'll be walking out of here with a little extra cargo. The food at the airplane restaurant was top-notch, as was their service. And fortunately, there weren't any flight delays at this stop, and I was able to hit the road on time toward my next location.